Hello and welcome to All Talk No Dice, the worst excuse for a D&D show you can find online. We do just want to say that next week, next episode, episode 20, we are going to be going live on Twitch every Monday evening, 7 p.m. to 10 GMT, and then the episode will be available the following Wednesday at 1 p.m. GMT. Now, from last we left off, the party of ragtag adventurers made their way from the secret hideout of Mogrush the Defiler. You all got aboard your Doom Whispers and began to make it across the Crawler's Respite. Before long, you all came across the familiar Temple of Nesvidi, although you saw blood was coating the exterior stairs and doorframe. Tara turned into a large snake and made her way slowly in, while Rayloff and Gerald kept eyes outside and Bar hunkered down a short distance away. After following a blood trail, fresh yet musky, you followed the Iron Crimson all the way to the throne chamber, where all three of you joined up and found a ceremonial pyre surrounding the throne. Atop it was a familiar black-coated horse carcass, dismantled and laid out piece by piece. You then heard a slight grumble from outside, and you all charged back for Bar, only to find him vanished and almost pulled from existence from the very place he had laid. You then followed faint tracks until they became scattered amongst the drifting sand of the dunes. Following the vague direction of footprints before you lost them, you continued ahead to find a small, abandoned shack, with a sword standing in the sand outside, adorning an orcish head on the pommel. Duke had left a note for you, attached to the back of the head, to inform you that Brenton was warned and Cruel is no more. Now, as you all make your way into the shack, and you find the only object within this barren space is a map, set on a table, noted on and partly torn yet fresh in design. Tara, you notice a small white circle, a reflection of light beginning to hover over Gerald. Then Rayloff, before you yell for everyone to drop to the ground, and all of you just straight prone onto the ground, and the air grows tense, and all you hear are your breaths just fluctuating and panting as you all lay prone on the floor of this old, dusty, misused hovel. This is where we pick it up. And just as you all drop to the ground, Rayloff and Tara, both of you notice as Gerald drops, you see just at the tip of his feathered hand a slight electricity just almost crawling up out of the ground and onto his hand. And you see Gerald just catch by surprise.
Do you know what that is?
No, but it's certainly interesting. And as he tries to shake it off, you see, and the electricity just sparks up and around his form, and you see him almost begin to, almost like the Flash, like super speed, just shaking slightly, giving that slight blurred whir to his entire form as the electricity, and almost in a blink, the Flash just illuminates the small shack brightly enough for you to quickly cover your eyes as you're both on the ground. And as you open, you hear that of electricity bouncing against the ground and the small walls of this shack. But the trail is not leading off of Gerald anymore. You see Theron prone on the ground with electricity just almost emanating from him. And Theron, you find yourself, in the blink of an eye, you feel as you're looking over the vast ocean, in a blink, you feel a slight pull. Not physical, but just inside you feel your mind and your soul just pulled out into the astral sea, into nowhere but somewhere. And you blink a couple more times, seeing nothing, before you feel and you find yourself in this small abandoned shack, daylight raining in from a small window to the side, and you find both Rayloff and Tara huddled down on the ground. And almost immediately you feel this overwhelming sense of almost seasickness as you land, and your body is just
While this has just happened, I'm going to actively look to see if it's an illusion.
Okay, roll a perception check.
Yeah?
Well, you do
Fuck me
that.
over last
Tara
time.
means that.
Yeah, you do that. Perception. Non-natural 20. Well, 16.
He's real.
I'll kind of... Not creepily, but more like trying to stick to the floor the best I can. Squint my eyes. And kind of like... and keep kind of like...
You just crawl over a serpentine. Yeah.
And whispering into Theron's
So at this very moment, what do I see? What form are you? Sorry, are you a snake at the moment?
Not at all. I am me as my person.
Oh, sound. Just making sure, because I probably would have chucked the snake off and done whatever I wanted. I've just been sick, and I'm just like, so. It's nice to see you guys. What the hell's just happened? Are we being quiet as well, or?
We just don't want him to see where we are.
Who?
Kind of like pointing towards the window.
As you point,
Fireball! No,
as you point towards the window, you do catch Tara. On that far wall opposite the window, you still see that white circle just hovering still
can I...
before it moves slightly and just gently drifting.
Can I... Oh, wait a minute. Let's have a quick look at my spells.
Just before you do anything, be very careful.
What do you want me to be careful of?
Just in case he shoots. We don't even know if it is Duke.
Oh, can I?
We think it might be Eric.
Well, Eric, best not shoot me, or else I'm going to fucking kill him. And I cast minor illusion. Is it cantrip? Minor illusion, or is that?
Yeah. It's a
minor illusion.
All right, that's a first level, isn't it? I think. Yeah.
No, it's cantrip, isn't it?
Have a look at your D&D
Beyond.
Oof.
Yeah, illusion cantrip, minor illusion.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Create a sound or image of an object.
Yeah, that's all right. So
it's that far away anyway.
Yeah. All right. So what would you like to do? You flourish the spell.
I'll just create a minor illusion of Gerald getting up and getting into contact with the scope.
You flourish the spell, and you find in front of you like an incorporeal, almost like kind of faded Gerald, very basic in nature, as he's just like arms to his side, flat on the ground, and the body almost like brokenly animated, with the arms to the side, just goes to standing, just
cardboard cutout.
What, like Rick and Morty when it's like simulation?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
And you see straight away that circle just hovers around the illusionary Gerald's beak, and just at his chest, and kind of shakes slightly.
Is there anything else you can do?
Rayloff, is there anything you want to be doing?
I'll use prestidigitation and make the shack look nice and empty.
How close am I to the door to go back out?
I'd say you're probably a couple feet. It's only a small shack as all of you are huddled down.
Yeah, is the door sort of like directly in line of the window, or is it off to the side?
I'd say if the window was here, facing you, then the door was about here on this side of the shack.
Can I use my glasses to catch the light, to shine the light back at the scope?
Yeah, sure, you could try.
Yeah, go on then. What have we got to roll for that, Butte?
Nothing. You hold up. You take your glasses off and kind of hold it up with your arm.
Don't shoot me glasses. Don't shoot me glasses.
And the circle stays where it is, and you see, casting through the illusion of Gerald to the wall, an almost finer point of light. And the circle just stays there for a moment.
Fuck this.
Before
right,
it lowers back down.
I get up. I get up and walk towards the door.
As you stand up.
And as I'm doing it, I'm looking directly at that motherfucking scope. You got to do these things.
You do. As you stand up. As you stand up.
It's below 50.
As you stand up. Theron and Tara.
Yeah.
What's Tara got to do with
I am still lying on the floor.
I know.
Okay.
Theron and Tara, both of you, as Rayloff, as you're kind of just shuffling yourself towards the door, you still laying flat or are you getting up?
Yeah, because what I was going to say to do is move towards the door and sort of kick the door open.
Yeah.
Sort of,
as you're shuffling and you kind of turn onto your back and you boot the door open, and it very easily just weakly just breaks the latch and not really slams open as the wind is kind of pushing against, but you are able to open it. And just as Theron exclaims his impatience and stands up, staring at the light, both Theron and Tara, you hear a very faint in the distance. And
does it sound like where it came, like where the...
It's so far off, it's just this very faint ticking.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, as you are unsure as what it is, Theron, you are standing, staring out the window, and you feel that light right on you, and you hear the ticking, and all of you just hear and you begin to see shafts of light and you begin to feel the shack quake as you hear and it is just a constant rain of holes being blown apart and made within this wall of the shack and through the window glass. Theron, you get hit once. Okay.
As a reaction,
okay.
Using shield.
Does it match a 27 or over?
Yeah. No.
You take 12 points of piercing damage.
No.
That's not too bad for a sound of Gatlin.
That's
but he's going to do multiples. Yeah.
You take 12 points, and then the second one, 16
go on.
to hit.
Yeah.
That you take 18 points of piercing damage.
Yeah.
And the third misses you entirely. But in this spray all of you feel the shack quaking, and the glass cast over you as you duck down, and this constant of small pallets just being cast in, breaking the wood splintering all over you. What are you doing?
I'm just going. Okay, I did the wrong thing, but at least we baited the bitch. And I'm going to head towards the door straight away.
Okay, as you head towards the door, 3 more pallets are going to head towards you.
Yeah, I'm dead. I've only got 20 left.
One first is a natural 20.
Well, I've only got... Yeah, sound. I've only got 20 health, so if it goes above 20, I'm done.
Alright. The second is a 12 to hit.
Yeah.
And the last is a 8.
No.
Does shields class as a turn, or is it
It's a reaction.
minute? But does it stay on you for a minute, or does it
For 6 seconds.
Fuck, okay, no worries. I was just seeing.
I think anyway.
Keep over.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just asking.
Alright. The first shot is a natural 20.
While I'm waiting.
It's 8. 16 points of piercing damage.
Yeah. So I've got 4 left, so if the second one's above 4 damage, then I'm got down.
And the second is... No, I roll real fucking low. 7 points of piercing damage.
4, 5, 6, 7. So -3. I'm down.
In that moment, and you all see the wood splintering, shafts of light poking in as Theron stands and goes towards the door, and you just see Theron just pelted as he...
And as I go down, I'm like, wow, this is real bad news.
as he slams down to the ground, unconscious. What are you all doing?
I'm gonna drag him away from the window, so he's...
Yeah.
I'm going to use Bomb of the Summer Courts to put one of my Bomb of the Summer Courts into him. Using my staff. Let me just make sure it's still... Yeah, it's still D6. He gains 3 HP and 1 temporary hit point.
Okay, nice. At this point, as this initial spray...
That brings me to 0.
No.
3 plus
No,
1 temporary hit
we.
point.
If you go under 0, you're just unconscious. You get healed, it's from 0.
Okay.
This initial spray, as all of you are just like ducking away and holding, and as you put your Balm of the Summer Courts into Theron, and Theron, your eyes open and you catch that gasp of breath, and all of you hear as all the shots and the pallets stop, and all that's left scattered across the floor are small little metal pellets or ball bearings about yay big, about an inch around, or half an inch around, coating the ground. Shafts of light just streaming in all directions and just letting the sun peek in more.
Do you say they look like pallets? Like
Almost like ball bearings, yeah. Just duller than like ball bearings you've seen before. Duller and kind of like almost like a gunmetal grey, but more like sooty.
Okay. Do they look hot?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah.
And as he's doing that, as I'm sort of like only on 4 HP, can I sort of just sort of like
21.
Can I take a bit of my scarf, wrap it round, and pick one of these ball bearings
Yeah,
up
yeah,
and,
sure.
Look at them
Yeah, sure.
to see if I know any information of them. Do they look familiar?
Sure. So I'll answer that straight away. As Tara, you notice that they look a little warm a little hot. Nothing like scalding or smouldering, but you just see a faint trickles of steam or smoke just gently wisp off of each. Nothing, enough to set anything on fire, but just
obviously just being shot.
Pretty hot to the touch. Theron, you wrap your.
I can prestidigitation to be cooler. To be fair.
As you wrap your scarf around your hand and you pick up one of these ball bearings, it's only about, again, a quarter of an inch around or so. And you pick it up, you look at it, and aside from average ball bearings or maybe marbles that you play with when you were younger, it's there's no kind of like click in there.
No writing, no emblems, no
nothing. Just blank and dull. What are you guys doing? That ticking sound has just faded off to nothing. Right now.
Can we see a white dot anywhere?
Roll a perception check.
Fucking hell, I'm rolling. This is the third one today. It's not too bad. 16.
You don't see the white circle.
I want to use the glutton's fork.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it.
With the shooting of the general house basic thing that we're in, is there anything that's been shot off, exposing us to the outside, or is it literally just been holes?
It's holes. A lot of small. I would say like almost like the head of a pin kind of holes, but as they're broken through, I'd say again, just like holes that you could cover with like the tip of your thumb.
Okay. Theron.
But you see Theron as like poking through like small holes in his garbs. You do see like in most places the ball bearings still lodged firmly in.
Okay. Theron.
Yeah.
1, I thought I said you don't do anything stupid.
Well.
2.
Okay.
You made Gerald look like he was here?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I know that he did that.
Can you make it look like a piece of wood has covered the glass?
I mean, I'll have to have a look at my spell, but I can give it a go.
I'll go to the door and sort of hold it, sort of stand behind it, so as if using the door to cover where I am.
You shuffle over and you kind of just crouch and then come up, standing behind the door, so like hunkered behind it.
Is there any sort of rock I can just throw out? That's just or anything, just anything to throw nearby.
Do you have anything to throw?
Your hand
You find, I mean, the table is in there. You find that small table with the map on, but outside is sand and nothing of anything else.
Right, I'm gonna throw me hand axe outside, like sort of that way. What's the sort of area look like? Like, is there anywhere I could get over to and cover from where?
Outside, just sand, hills and dunes, flat sand. Especially around this small shack, it is all flat. There's no boulders, no big rocks, no other buildings to be seen.
Okay.
Glutton's forks heal me for 10.
Nice.
I've used it. Also, at Tatara, I'm like, by the way, totally forgot, I can make people invisible.
You can make people invisible? You're saying this?
Yeah, but also...
You could have done it yourself!
The thing is, you're not thinking ahead. There's footprints in the sand, invisibility doesn't get rid of that.
It's true, but you could have stood up without them seeing you.
You know, you have to bait these things. He might not want to shoot us, might be trying to threaten us, trying to send a message. He certainly sent a message.
They also know
Where we
you
are.
can do now.
Do you know what?
And where we are.
Well, now that you shouted it out to everyone, everyone knows that you can turn us all invisible.
Yeah, but when I find them, I'm gonna fucking rip their heads off. With magic, not physically.
Tara.
I'm gonna.
Yes.
Sorry, go on, Rayloff.
Yeah, I'll throw me hand axe out and see if there's any light going towards it, or one of my hand axes.
Alright. You kind of toss it out slightly, just a little weak throw just to give it some distance, but nothing like hurling at an enemy. And you launch. Roll a perception check for me. I'll say because it's so quick with disadvantage, with the bright light of the sun coming down as well.
Would I say that even though I was talking to Theron, I kind of saw Rayloff
Yeah,
throw it?
yeah. It's. I mean, both of you, as you're talking, it is easy still to see inside the shack, especially with more light in. It's easier to see as Rayloff does pull out one hand axe from his from the sheath and just lobs it a little bit out. Rayloff. 10. As the sun gleams off of the axe head as you lob it, you're just barely able to see a faint, like, extra, more intense circle of light on the axe head for a second. Terror.
Oh, they're a pro. They're a pro. They know.
Do we hear any ticks like we did when...
Roll a perception check with disadvantage for me, Terror.
Can I... The floor, like, the shack... out of interest, is the floor of the shack just sand?
No, it's wood.
Floor-boarded.
Yes, floor-boarded. Terror, you hear, in that moment, so faintly...
Just one solid chunk.
Out of interest, can I hunker down, and depending how long this goes on for, potentially skywrite? One action in 10 minutes, I could skywrite something in the sky, maybe.
Complete.
10 minutes?
Yeah, but we're not moving anywhere, are we?
Well, it's true, but if they come to us...
I'm on 14 HP, I'm going to die anyway.
Not with us near.
Try and get to the back of the building, like on the opposite side of the window.
Alright. So, the only entrance and exit is through that door.
Yeah, so I want to... So, using the door to block off the vision that way. I want to go around the house and go to the back of it.
I'll say... Yeah, I'll say, because you have got a big form, roll either stealth... Actually, yeah, roll a stealth check for me. To see if you can keep yourself hidden through, like, behind the door as you snake around the building.
20.
13.
13.
Nope.
You begin to push away from the door, like hunkering in to the wall and crouching almost as you begin to like take a few steps back. Now outside of the the shack, like following the wall behind you and going round.
Oh,
and
can I cast invisibility on him?
well, as he steps out backwards of the doorway, you can't see him. He's out of your line of sight. As he stepped away from the doorway. And pellets begin to rain through the walls and the glass again, and through the door this time, rail off at you. The first one is a 26.
Yeah.
Second is a 14.
Nope.
Third is a 23.
Yeah. I'm assuming the door did nothing to stop it then.
Absolutely nothing. It's an abandoned shack, almost.
Okay, so seeing as he's got us boxed in, I'm going to spend the 10 minutes to try and skywrite.
First one is 15 points of piercing damage. The second one missed, and the last one 17 points of piercing damage. As you do, after taking a couple shots, as you just hear raining and echoing around across the dunes. And you hear the wood splintering from the shack and the door as it just... You do duck behind the shack. As Terra,
Yes.
2 shots are going for you.
For me, I haven't got up yet.
No,
Still
as
on the
in
ground.
while you're down.
But how
As
would
it
I
as
know that I'm...
as in out of the spray, as it's just all over.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it with disadvantage to see if one or two hit you in the
Okay.
spray. Just because there's so many pallets being flung.
Yeah, no worries.
The first one's 12 to hit,
It doesn't hit me.
and the second one, fuck, 16 to hit.
That one does hit me.
Okay. You take on that one that does hit, as you feel like as you're down, you see the one floorboard right next to your elbow, just and just like just splinters fly off into your face, and as you curl away, you bring your side up, and one one pallet just hits you just under the armpit, and you take 12 points of piercing damage.
Okay. Is
See-
it audible? They've shot and they've stopped.
They right now, it is a continuous, just constantly, and the more holes are being shot through the walls. You get hit. You hear Rayloff outside kind of grumble slightly. Theron, 2 are gonna try and hit you.
I cast invisibility on myself. But you've
Alright, so
already-
disadvantage.
No, I haven't cast invisibility yet, right? But
Yeah,
I was-
yeah, yeah.
No, disadvantage on the attack.
Yeah, because they're still lying down. On.
Yeah, the first one is a 9 to hit.
No.
The second one, 12 to hit.
Yeah. I'm dead anyway. Well, I've got 14, so. That's exactly 14!
No,
Whoa!
no. That's exactly 13 points of piercing damage you take.
Alive.
This spray continues on for about 15 more seconds, continuous, and just small pallets. All you hear after they've it just slam through the wall and the glass, that any glass that still remained around the bare edges of the window, and after hitting through onto the back wall, all you hear as the silence then. And you hear a couple of the pallets just still like rolling just around.
The moment of silence, I'm popping up
Yeah.
and I'm looking to where the shots would have come from.
Okay, roll
Well,
a perception check.
I'm on 1 HP. By the way, dear,
It just rolled into my glass. So,
That's okay,
into
yeah,
the dice
reroll,
I
yeah.
rolled,
is this one of those boss fights where we all have to die, but we don't actually die? You know, like in those RPGs. where
Nah.
it's like
17.
Oh,
17?
I'll try. In that case, as I'm invisible, I'm going to make my way outside and go to the back of the shack if I can.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, you
I'm
find yourself invisible. Terra, in the glimpse before you get up, you see Theron muttering incantation, and his form just vanishes from sight. Theron, you make your way outside behind the shack.
Actually, before I go, I could technically cast a third. I could cast invisibility.
Well,
Invisibility.
you
Third level. Or, I don't know. No, it's alright. I'll go around the back of the shack.
Okay, you go around the back of the shack, finding Rayloff as he's hunkered down. Terra, in that moment, as you pop up and you squint your eyes, about 500 feet away, just cresting the top of a dune, you see that glint is brighter and almost pretty much bigger than than anything you see attached to it. and you see it's based from the southern direction, facing you, and you see slight little glints of sun on metal, and you see just a glint of a dark brown or dark grey cloak attached to a form that is almost lying down, but you see their shoulders and arms moving behind them. And just in that moment, you see as they bring up a small, like, grey and green metal case. As you see them putting a hand on this device and slamming this box into the side. As it just gently attaches with the box still on the exterior, but just almost affixed.
How far away does it... how far away is this person loading the... well, assuming this metal...
You would estimate about 500 feet.
500 feet?
Between 400 and 500 feet. They are like almost a dot of a figure. But as you peer and through the sunlight and all the holes cascading of shafts of light just cascading against you, that's where you're able to gleam in that quick moment.
Can I cast Fog Cloud?
Is it a concentration
of course.
spell?
Oh shit, he's just going to say the wind's going to blow it away, but I'll do it anyway. I'll cast first level Fog Cloud.
Alright. Is it instantaneous or is it concentration?
Anyway. If it'd do its thing.
And I'm not sure. Just in the moment, I think casting a spell or make an attack, it takes away your invisibility.
Invisibility.
Yeah, but
it does it with advantage.
I'm round the back of the shop.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as you know.
Yeah. Concentration.
Okay, yeah. So, inevitably, your invisibility drops. Rayloff, as you're hunkered to the back.
But it's within 20... range 120 feet.
Okay, where do you want to cast it? Because you're at the back of the shack now. All you can see is the wooden wall in front of you.
Yeah, and cast it in front of the shack, Connor.
Do you have
roughly where it is?
Does it say you need to see where you cast it?
You create a 20-foot sphere. Fog range points within range. The sphere spreads around corners.
Okay, that's fine. If it says within range, or like, since it doesn't say within range in an area that you can see, then you're fine. So, Rayloff, you see as you're hunkered behind the shack, kind of just panting and...
I just want to kind of block terror.
Okay.
Because it's heavily obscured, isn't it?
Alright.
You know what I mean?
Rayloff, as you're hunkered at the back and you just find like one pallet that's just just below your collarbone, you just dig it out with your thumb. You notice in the ground just imprints being pressed in just next to you, and in a short moment you see Theron appear where those footfalls have stayed, and he quickly again just begins to swirl his hands and cast a spell, and within his hands and between his arms you begin to see, as he ropes it around, just fog and cloud and dark mist begin to just almost like tether between his hands like rope, as he just and just sets it, and the smoke and fog just almost like dissipates past and through this back wall of the shack. And Terra, as you gleam from that very small amount of detail from the figure and that weapon, you see obscure grey fog in front of the window and in front of you.
Okay, well, if just in case they saw me, I'm gonna duck and move.
Yeah.
So I'm not where I originally was,
just
in case someone did.
Yeah, just as the fog and the smoke just and begins to just bubble and roil almost.
That's a
you
20
duck
foot
and go.
Radius. That's a 20-foot radius.
Amazing.
So I don't know. That's
Don't even
awesome.
know how big the house is, but I will take it as it was covered and it works, so I'm happy. Seen it before from Theron, I'll take it that it was Theron. Knowing that that's so far away, I'll probably think that they can't hear me, and I will like try to not shout, but like raise my voice. They're 500 foot away. How are they getting this far? I don't know. But we've got to make a move quick. What's the plan?
Well, I'm nearly dead, so I don't really have a plan right now, and I was vamped here, and I don't even know how.
Did you know how you got back the first time?
Nope.
You're a massive help, Theron.
Thank you. You say that. You say that, but every time I come back, I seem to almost die. For you guys. And I don't even love you that much.
How high were they?
Hey?
I don't know if I'll be able to hear you through the wall at that like volume level light.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's a wooden shack in the desert.
Yeah, but that's why I shouted. Do you know what I mean? Obviously not retardedly shouting, but
Murloc.
exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Why can't I double the or even if it doubled the range of magic missile, I couldn't get him.
Theron,
Yeah.
you hear in the distance
Oh, come on. I've got 1 HP, bro.
a faint,
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. How do you know him there?
a faint.
Is that mortar?
And you hear just in the sand.
You know what? Go for it. Go for it. Bet you any money to survive.
Okay, just out of concept. You will die. The
No,
thing is that
No, I've got 2 chronal shifts, bitch.
Terra,
okay, that's fantastic for you.
Terra. You're still
Yes.
in the shack.
Yeah,
I am
but
still in the shack.
the fog
You-
is heavily obscured.
You look to the side through the doorway, and about
Yeah, I would still be lying down.
yeah, and almost kind of scattered 15 feet away, 10 feet away from the doorway, you see a small, like, dull iron canister that is just
Oh.
into the sand.
No, now he's adding his own mix into it.
How far away? 15 foot.
Between 10 and 15 feet.
I'm gonna get as close as I can to the door, so I'm 10 foot away from the canister, and I'm gonna thorn whip it and pull it to me.
Alright, you... I roll an attack.
And I'm gonna try, obviously, catch it so you don't fuck me in the face.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Nice! Okay, easily just...
Not saying that it's all before. Yeah.
As it...
I've fucking done this shit before.
As it wraps around, and you kind of see as the thorns just innate, just like spike outwards, you see part of the canister just and crush slightly as you whip it back and grab it.
Okay, I want to inspect to see what it is. Obviously, I know it's a canister, but I don't know if there's anything on it that might relate to.
You look down, and in your hands, I'd say about yay big.
Yeah.
And about like three inches around for sorry about like 4 or 5 inches around, but it's almost like almost like a can, right?
Okay.
The canister shaped like cylindrically, and you hold it, and it's just dull iron. Like you can see the pound marks of where it's been smithed and how it's been created, and just as you turn it, you see just towards the top of where it's sealed, you see a small little vent, and this almost inside, you kind of see like a small little fuse that is just gone out.
I'm going to grab, turn, and throw with all my force out of the door.
Alright, roll strength check for me.
Like, I'm even going to actively spin to try and get it as far as
Yeah,
possible.
as you give it the full shot, put the discus
Exactly.
and launch it. Okay.
Okay, 15.
15. As you wing it, and it hurls out the door about 20 feet away, and just before it lands, out of that vent, you see streaking out through the air a gentle green mist. And it lands, and you just see swarming around it, being pumped out of this small canister, this thick, green... If smoke could be viscous, this is, as you see thick clouds of green smoke.
Do we see this by now from where we are?
Yeah, easily. It's... From you, like, if you look kind of like as you're around the back of the shack and you kind of like put your head back and you just look off, and then from you it's probably about 30, 35 feet away in the sand as it just...
You just hear me say, "Don't breathe it in!" And I cover my
I have
mouth
literally nothing that can get that far.
They're heading towards us. That's all.
You don't know.
The only thing we do know is that it's 500 foot away, and whatever they got...
Smoke. Is the smoke heading to us?
No, it's it's stationary around where the canister landed, and it is this thick, like, 10-foot radius smoke cloud almost, but it's just thick and green. But it's not... I mean, the wind kind of carries a little streaks of it, but it's very contained. In its own right.
It was made to fill that, say, one room.
Yeah. And the smoke is slowly wisping away as of like 6 seconds or so go by, or 12 or so, and the smoke does just drift off into the wind.
Is that including our smoke as well? My fog?
You're still concentrating on the fog cloud. It's still there.
Oh, yeah, good point. I'll just look over to Rayloff and be like, can you not rip a hole in the back of the... shed? So Kara can get out?
Yeah.
Kara, sorry.
Theron. Just
Yeah.
as Rayloff, as Theron says that to you, Theron, you hear in the distance another...
Oh, another one, is it? God's sake, I've had enough of them.
Tara, I want you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Dex save.
If you get another natural 20, you might be able to chuck it straight away.
I haven't. But dex saves I'm alright at. 16.
16. You hear above the shack just a gentle... And
So it's
in the roof... And you just hear a slam and a thud as... And you step out the way, and as it lands, a thick, just... A thick, dull brick, almost, of just solid stone is clattered to the ground, casting a fairly sizable hole, I'd say maybe a foot in diameter, as the wood is splintered and broken, and some parts of the shingles and the roofing is still sticking like in the way, but it has created a sizable hole in the roof.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick a hole off to the side so it's not in view of the window, but just to kick a hole through. Just
Okay,
where it's weak.
roll an attack for me.
Okay,
Unarmed strike.
While he's doing that, can I see if anything's happening with this other canister / whatever it is?
You look around, and you just see the canister outside has dispersed all of its smoke, and the green smoke cloud has drifted off just a few seconds ago, and it's left an empty canister.
The one on the roof.
You can't see the hole in the roof, nor can you see inside the shack.
15.
Has he gone through? Has he gone through to the shack?
Yeah. You heard as a thud, and then you heard a clatter inside the shack.
Yeah. I thought it was just on the roof.
No, he has gone through.
Yeah.
Rayloff?
15.
15? Yeah, you hit the wall. Roll a strength check for me.
Yeah.
20 million. Do it.
We wish.
6.
Illustrates the whole house.
As
Me. Shit.
you rear back and you just like full frontal kick it, and you see it just barely like just dents inwards. You don't think you've reached past even the foundation of the wall yet. If you want to keep going, let me know.
I'll try again.
Go ahead.
I'll shout out. I'll run through the door. We need to run.
Terra and Theron. Just
I
as
would like to do something
yeah,
afterwards.
that's okay. Yeah,
Continue what you
just as Rayloff, you go for that second kick. Roll for the attack if you haven't not already.
Yeah, 26.
Perfect. Roll strength check.
Yeah, go on. What are we doing?
Hold on for a second. Nice. You and you push your entire leg through from your foot, pretty much to the just behind your knee, and then you pull your foot out, and it's a lot weaker around that hole, and you're able to just push some of the wood out of the way slightly. I'd say you've created a hole big enough for you to probably fit your head through right now with that initial kick.
Is that Terra's whole body, or...?
Probably crawl out of it.
Yeah, like Tara could possibly, like, it was a really tight fit, but Tara could possibly like snapping a bit more of the wood around it, maybe. But Tara and Theron, just after that kick through, and as Rayloff, as he's pulling his leg out, you both hear another.
Oh, come on, mate.
Tara,
Yeah.
stumbling next to you through the same hole. You see another dull iron canister land right next to your feet within the shack.
Okay. I'm going to.
And
Can I see Terra from the hole?
through the hole, yeah, as Rayloff kind of like takes his leg out and starts pulling slightly, you can see her.
Okay, is this classed as an attack to Terra or not?
No.
It's worth trying. I was going to try Chronal Shift, but...
That's cool.
Tara, this dull iron canister lands next to your feet inside the shack.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the spell Conjure Animals.
Okay.
I'm going to
die. Use my staff. Sorry, we need your help. And aim towards the glass, aiming towards the 500 foot. I know they're 500 foot away. It's only got a range of 60 foot. I'm going to start it off at 60 foot. A foggy-like circle is going to appear. And from behind, there's going to look like small eyes are going to come from my hand, drift, kind of like shimmy through the wall, go towards the foggy kind of circle. And even though their eyes, when they go to it, when they come out, walls appear.
Okay.
Walls
okay.
appear. And they are going. So let me just Let me just. She unconscious. Roll. Roll initiative. For some creatures as it has its own turn. Am I alright to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's going to dash. Well, they all are going to dash till, obviously, inevitably after 4 rounds, because it's 40 foot. They're going to get 80 foot worth of distance. They're going to travel, so it'll be 6 rounds. Still shit. But eventually, when they get there, they're going to, if they're still alive, try to fight off the people.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. As Tara, you call to Taratai and you push your hand forward, and you see the corporeal eyes just almost separate out of your hand, and very like almost enthusiastically moving towards this foggy green and grey portal.
Yeah.
And it's just silence as you look down to the canister. No noises aside from that as you push, and all of you here just and just like 8 wolves begin to just howl and snap at the chomp as they and you hear the 8 sets of 4 footfalls all begin to charge through the sand forward, heading off to the distance. Tara, what are you doing as you look to this canister?
I'm going to, once I've done that and I know that they've gone through the portal, I'm going to run at this gap at my full speed and do like a slide through the gap to get myself as small as possible.
Yeah.
And if anything,
Okay.
hope that I fit. If I don't, my foot will try to push that little gap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll an acrobatics check for me.
In my head, all I got was the wedgie as he was trying to...
No.
Oh, he's got natural 20!
I do have an actual
Fuck.
30.
Yes!
Yes!
Okay. Tara, you sprint, and just as you hear behind you, as the canister begins to expel that green noxious gas, and you almost in your nose, you catch almost like a very thick, like vinegar in your nose as you and you sprint and launch, and as you kind of like feet first, almost drop kicking the bottom of the wall into the hole, and all you see, Rayloff, as Tara's form almost shoots out, catching almost at your chest, and your elbows cracking through the wood as you're using your body weight and momentum to catch through, almost like almost just drop kicking through the wall.
Through the wall. Fucking hell.
And Tara, just in that moment, and one of your shoulders just gets stuck slightly as your head and one arm is still inside the shack. And your legs are just now like kicking against Rayloff and Theron as the noxious gas. I want you to make a Constitution save for me. And what are the other two doing?
I was going to say, as you were sliding, can I take...
Hold on, Theron. Rayloff.
Can I take out my...
Non-natural 20.
Where is it? Sierra's breath and sort of use it to push away the fog.
Yeah? Yes, you can. And Theron, what are you doing?
I'm just going to try help...
Okay, roll a strength check with advantage for me.
What?
Strength check with advantage.
Strength?
Yeah, Tara, you kind of catch that vinegar smell in the back of your nose again, and you're like... You know when you're like... You feel your eyes burning, but you're closing them so much and holding your breath as you feel Theron's...
Natural 20. Let's see if we get
Go on, see.
Another nat... No, it's a 4.
You caught me. If you had 2 20s, I would start calling bullshit on you. Okay. Awesome.
21.
Awesome. As you feel Theron's smaller human hands wrap around your ankles and tugs, and as he does, and your body begins to lodge out, your eyes burning and streaming, but nothing so much as the poison seeping in. Yeah. All you feel as you are slightly pulling out, you feel of a strong gust of wind just jettisoning into your face, up your gown, and just past your hair, blowing everything, as just outside of the wall, Rayloff, you see, and Theron, you see this green gas just push out of wherever it can out of the shack through this hole, and it's just cascading into the air. And just as it's cascading into the air, Tara, you get pulled out by Theron, and you land heavily on the sand, and all of you hear just off in the distance, you just hear one slight and just a couple howls before and you hear the wolves instantly all begin to just... The clatter and the chatter of the wolves growling and snarling and howling slowly begins to just get cut short, one by one. Before, about 4 seconds later, you hear no howl or snarl.
Shot all of them.
You hear no ticking.
That's in Tara. I'm like, wolves. They remind me of home. Shall we try and get the fuck out of here?
Yes, let's run.
I'm gonna take
okay.
my.
Well, maybe not run, because what's the landscape like? Because if you've got a shack in the sand dunes going up, if we go up a sand dune, he's going to see us and kill us off again. Is it a flat expanse? Is it not a flat expanse?
Immediately around you, it's a flat expanse, but within 100 feet or so, it begins to get hilly and the dunes just roll around and over.
We need to just run. I'm just gonna not care. I'm gonna dash.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna take out my Dune Strider.
Dune Whisper.
Dune Whisper, sorry. Dune Strider.
Does it not
trademark.
Does it take some time to?
It takes an action. Yeah, takes an action to set it up.
I'll take an action to set it up then, and then just go.
Because I remember when you were setting up first time, it was all of you learning how to set it up and get used to it. Now it is just a quick sail in. You know exactly how it works.
You're on. Okay, no worries. Still, I would have got to 60 foot.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You sprint.
Yeah, start running.
And is there anything you're doing as you sprint out the doorway or from around the back of the shack? Which direction are you running?
So the shack is behind me, where the hole is now. So I'm running as far as away that way.
Oh, so you're heading northward.
Just the opposite direction of where the shootings come from. So I've got some kind of cover behind the shack. I say some kind.
Yeah.
The closest to the dune.
Yeah. Okay.
If it means that actually the dune is closer on the side, but then it means that I'm exposed, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to just
okay. Yeah. You find a small dune that does roll up, potentially maybe level with the top of the shack, maybe a teeny bit higher, but it is cover once you get across, and it's about 150 feet or so away right now as you are just fucking hurling through the sand.
Yeah.
Silence all around.
I'll follow suit.
Okay, you sprint. Rayloff, you snap in the Doom Whisper.
With me 1 HP.
Yeah, Theon's just Theon, you're hobbling, and as Rayloff quickly just casts past both of you on his Dune Whisper, smaller compared to him, but still casting past you over the dune, and both of you quickly and just hobbling and just catching what breath you can as you climb up the dune, and as you do, and you crest the top, you can just barely tell that it's just above the level of the shack. Is there anything you're doing just as you leap over? Or are you just getting over?
Oh, wait a minute.
Front slide down the side.
I'll see where I've got.
Alright, Rayloff, you just cast over with the Dune Whisper onto the other side of the dune. You see Tara quickly, a small time later, catching up, and as you see her head poke over the dune, you see her straight away just leap forward onto her belly and just kind of like slowly rotating and turning, but just sliding down the dune.
No, I won't do anything.
Okay, and Theron leaps over just after and begins partly sliding down the dune with all the sand kind of just like slowly following.
I'm not sliding down with 1 HP. I'm just rolling down.
as Theron like partly slides but begins to just log just down into the sand as Tara kind of just meets the bottom of the dune, and this one only went up about 15-20 feet tall, and Theron just behind you kind of bumps into your side, Tara, as he just rolls in, his like face is covered in sand.
I'm gonna like just actively just pick him.
Matt, you lose 1 HP.
And you all find yourselves panting, just ducking and covering behind this dune. After running away from this shack that is almost destroyed and decimated, one fog cloud dissipated, empty canisters littering the ground amongst all of the many hundreds of ball bearings.
The only problem is now he's going to reposition and start again.
It's true, but it's going to take some time. We've got some time to move.
Have we? How far are we going to get in the desert? He can equal our movement.
I'll point at Rayloff and his Doom Whisper. We still have ours. You still have yours, right?
Me?
As I pull mine out of me knapsack and start to put the Doom Whisper into place.
Yeah, you put the flat board down and you latch the strong pole of the sail into it.
I was
yours, right?
over there. Did you whisper?
There will be a spare one in the bag of holding that you have.
However, I don't know how to use it.
I have an idea. Yeah, I
What's
have an
the
idea.
idea? I can barely hold myself up.
How long can you hold your breath?
I don't know. Let's see.
Because I'm gonna need to know.
Out of game as well. Out of game, Matt. The length you can hold your breath for is your Constitution mod +1.
That's minutes, is it?
Yeah, in minutes.
Did you say intelligence?
No.
I wish. I know how to breathe. It's just not how long to breathe.
So whatever your Constitution ability score mod is,
I'm alright by saying if it's a minus, it's still
it's still at least 1, a minimum.
12 plus 2.
No.
13.
So your modifier. So what is it? What's the plus or minus?
Oh, 2.
Okay, so you can hold your breath for 3 minutes
Oh, okay.
okay.
before you start suffocating.
Okay. So when I put my hand in my bag, it's not very airy. You're gonna have to hold your breath. I'm gonna shrink you down, put you in, and we're gonna fuck off for 3 minutes, or I'll see where we're at. 2 minutes later, I will pull you out. You catch your breath? I put you back in.
How big is the Dune Whisper compared to Terra and?
It wouldn't matter because I could put him in, and he would weigh nothing.
No, meant more. Would it be viable to have
you know
people
what?
riding at once?
It doesn't matter. I'm game. Let's do this.
Just for the question though, just for the question before you get into it, just for the question for you, Rayloff. Yes, 2 people could ride on the Doom Whisper, like one being on the outside of the other, kind of like Titanicing it. So one on the inside and then one around them like that, right? But you can imagine, but like the footing would be a little bit tight and you're pressed against each other, and you would estimate that it would vastly reduce the speed.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tara.
Good idea, though. Okay, so
No,
you're
I'm
gonna
game.
hold your breath. Yeah, you're gonna hold your breath. The only deal I want you to do is to tell me afterwards.
Deal.
After
I'm
we've
holding
got
my
away-
breath.
Whoa. Tell me what it's like. Because I've heard it's just emptiness. Because we have to take you out, you see. And if I don't think about what happens, if I don't think what I'm grabbing else, I don't pick anything up. So
Don't worry, Terra. I quite
won't
like
forget
it.
about it.
I quite like our experience too.
Okay. I'm going to use reduce on Theon
Okay.
to shrink him down to half
Alright.
his size.
Can I use counters button?
Theon, are you willing? Are you willing?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. No save required. You And Theron, your foot, everyone quickly grows around you as everyone begins to grow like giants. And you are reduced to...
And even then, Theron thinks he's better than everyone.
And you are reduced... How small is Theron right now, Terra?
You are well. He's halved size.
So you are reduced to just barely about 3.5 feet tall. And your garbs and all your weapons shrink with it. Yeah, as you...
You like Sandy Mover?
And I'll open the bag of holding or the knapsack of holding as wide as it can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell me when to hold my breath? Like,
just hold your breath all the time until I yank you out.
No, what I'm saying is the maximum amount of air. Like, as soon as I go in, just tell me when.
Okay. The moment you go in and I shut it, it will go. Just hold your breath. Okay. Go to dive. I'll kind of like kneel down.
You kneel down, and Theron, almost like an Olympic swimmer, just hand over.
And I'll get the kind of like the snuff of his back.
Yeah. And as you jump through Theron, and you go in, you feel the tug hurl you in.
I'm gonna close it, put it back on my side, and in my head I go 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant.
Okay.
And literally the moment I learned it that way. The moment I get to 120, I'm going to stop, open, and think of Theron to come out.
All right.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
On it.
DM, out of interest, is this knapsack of holding classed as a pocket dimension?
Yes.
Fuck, so my telepathy isn't going to work.
No. So, Theron, as you go into this bag, you find as your hands and your body meet the bottom of where the actual bag would be, in front of you, at the bottom of the bag, you find a small, almost pocket portal just in front of you of purple and mist as you almost slide through. And as you do, you are just welcomed to nothing. To blank, dark space of nothing. No objects, no creatures, no light, no air, no sounds. And it's almost this stasis of nothing, a pause in reality, and a small escape from a second.
Yes. Yeah, and Theron's, obviously I can't speak, but Theron's look is one of intrigue and one of peace.
Tara.
I am peace within myself.
Tara, you shut the knapsack.
Yeah.
And you both go on the Doom Whispers. Where are you heading?
Literally as far away as possible, in the opposite direction of these things until Rayloff
within 3 minutes
says,
yeah,
obviously. Well, I'll slow down within 2.
Yeah.
To pull him out to make sure that he has enough oxygen, and then, but anyways, we'll carry on going in one direction until Rayloff tells us, I think this is enough.
Okay.
Or I personally think I'm happy, I'm safe.
Okay.
And then we'll.
All right.
But within 2 minutes, we're going to pull Theron out so we can breathe.
Yeah.
Say, is everything all right? Yes.
The only, the only problem is you're doing one Mississippi, 2 Mississippi timekeeping.
No, I'm not. I'm doing 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant, 4 elephant.
So,
but that's why I'm doing it after 2 minutes, so I know you've got enough breath. But
my
apologies. In case it runs over.
Just a bit of wiggle room.
I've got. Do you know what I mean?
All right. So you both hurl yourselves on the Doom Whispers with small mini Theron in the bag. in the knapsack as you and you begin to coast over a couple dunes, quickly catching about upwards of about 1,400 feet or so on the Dune Whispers within these brief 2 minutes, casting over a couple dunes. And as you do, Terra, your heart kind of flutters slightly as you catch up this taller dune. And just as you do, in the far, far, far off distance, against the golden yellow, you just catch a small glimpse of green.
Uh-oh.
As you continue down this dune, and you find yourselves catching up to the 2 minutes of the 120 elephants, and you kind of pull up with Rayloff, and you pull Theron out. Theron, in this moment of just dull peace, time isn't going, nor it isn't moving forward, nor is it moving backward, nor is it continuing. Your life is just nothing. No continuation, no regression, no progression. And just in a moment, you hear a slight above you, and a small purple and white light just appears on, filling this entire space with bright white, almost blinding you in the moment as your form is just glided up before you are yanked out and into the bright sun and the musty smelling sand scenery that is just coating everywhere around you, and that those smells and that gentle heat hits you, and you and just gasp for the breath that you have been holding, and that you hadn't noticed you were holding anything until you came into this atmosphere again.
Why'd you take me away from perfection?
You can go back in if you want, if you liked it. I thought it was this for you.
It's like the Rick and Morty sketch of your level.
Exactly.
But yeah, I come out of the bag and I'm like bewildered by all the actual sensory input that's actually going on.
Yeah.
And in this moment, all I'm wishing is that I could actually go back in that bag.
You see Theron have like a look of like after the gasp. You just see like a sense of shock almost.
With 1 HP, that'll help. With the shock, yeah. Am I still small?
You are. How long does the reduction last? An hour?
The concentration is actually a minute, but I only ask because obviously his head would come out and his head would be able to come out of the bag, but his body won't be able to. But if it's a timeless...
Oh, so I'm trapped in there?
Would it only be classed as a minute out of the bag? So the moment he went in, if he came out, would the time not restart, but carry on where it left off?
Oh, shit, bro.
All right.
Oh, shit, bro.
I
only just thought about this now.
In this instance, and I was thinking the same, in this instance, as you pull Theron out the bag, he is still reduced. For your body, like inside you and your mind of Arcana, you feel the clock ticking down again, really, as it was shut off before. But you find in your head, you just almost like a slight little like reminder. 62 seconds, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57. And it's just slowly ticking in your head. What are you doing?
Theron, it's a weird sensation. If you want to go back in, hold your breath again. I'm gonna push you back in.
As Theon just and you just and you almost like frantically like putting away some food into your pouch as if you're like running away. You just grab his small head and just slam him down and through the bag. And Theron, you and you just
Like
find
you're
yourself,
one of those
yeah, in like the decompression water chambers.
Yeah, it's almost like taking some kind of drugs and just being like
Oh
Yeah, and Theron,
giving myself to the nothingness. That is-
Theron, you find yourself, that light dissipate instantly. That portal that allows you in, close. You hear the sound of this gentle sucking. And then blank, dark nothingness again. And in this moment, Terra, knowing you have 2 more minutes at most till you need to pull over again, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna ask Rayloff to see what he wants to do. I know.
Right, I was going to say, yeah, you have the 2 minutes timer.
And in this moment, you realised Theron was dead.
Second time, shit.
Yeah.
So the clock is slowly ticking in your head as timekeeping for the elephants, Terra, and you've just closed off the knapsack again.
Is that the third time now? Or is that
No,
like
this
Second.
is the second.
second?
I've just put him back in, and I know you just disappeared, but my concentration spell seems to be put on pause while he's in there, and it resumed when he came back out. He was still small,
Right.
knowing that he should really have enlarged back again.
It's a weird pocket dimension.
It's a weird, yeah.
I would say do it 2 more times then,
Okay.
and then on that after that second time, well, after the second time, come doing the 2 minutes, then pull out and.
So you'll think we'll be safe by that far
Well, we can certainly take a minute to.
to sort the situation out.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm happy with that. Let's go. And I'll start going first.
All right. As you leave, there's about 30 seconds gone.
Okay, that's fine. And mine would have still.
Yeah, you're still catching up with you're still catching the elephants as you both and continue at full pace, catching another 1,600 feet away. Across the dunes, around the sands, around small little bends and curves, across this vast wasteland of gold and amber grains. And you pull again. And Theron, that space around you flashes white as your form is slowly pulled out before yanked out again. And you
Catch your breath. We're going to do this one more time, and then I'll fully pull
He's
you
in
out.
I'm in cardiac arrest.
as you see his pupils just go to pinpricks as you just see him as you just throw him back down. Yeah. Yeah, as he finally catches that lungful.
Make him take a breath.
Yeah. And you head off again. Another 2,000 feet away. As you curl and hurl yourself over the dunes and around small dips and spaces and bends and rises. Finding yourselves further into the wasteland of the respite of nothing but sand. Nothing but the heat burning upon you. Nothing but the gentle breeze casting across you. Just as you finish this little sprint and pull Theron out once more. And this time, Theron, you find yourself not held above the bag. You are hurled across onto the ground, and as you do, and you find yourself, everyone just scales back down and onto the sand as your normal size and form.
I don't know if that was a lesson for you, but it was a lesson for me. I gained something from that. So, if anything, thank you.
Yeah, I gained something too. Piece
What
of
was it?
fucking quiet.
And Theron,
There was no time. There was no. No. It was amazing. And I pass out.
Of happiness.
yeah, and you find that like bewilderment and almost joy. Yeah, that joy in Theron's face, in his eyes, is shock, curiosity, and like almost intrigue, and slight regret of not being still in there, or being able to be there. And you see his form just, and you still hear the breathing, but you just see him completely flat out and exhausted. As both of you stand looking at him, kind of grinning to yourselves, but wondering if anyone is watching, if anything knows where you are.
If that's the first thing that pops into my mind, I'm going to not touch Theron, but I'm going to place my hand on his chest and use half of the moonlight and shadow. Presuming that because he's asleep, we might take either a short or long rest. And I'm going to make this 30-foot space for us to have a bonus to stealth and perception checks while within it, and just to be more safer.
As you straight away, as that thought of any eyes watching, anything knowing you're there, wherever it or they may be, you begin to just shut it in your hand, a small, like, a weird coagulation of bright white and solid black shadow. And you cast it onto Theron.
It's like that water one where it goes through.
And the smoke just floats over, almost like encasing and like setting Theron in this tomb of smoke, before that smoke begins to just slowly trace a circle around you and climb above you before, and as it reaches the pinnacle, filling in this dome, as it reaches it and disappears.
You just hear Theron's thoughts telepathically. It's not the pocket dimension.
And just as you cast that terror, knowing you're a little bit more comfortable of being unseen by any curious eyes or beings, and Rayloff, you take a look around and you find nothing but sand in the immediate vicinity, with Theron passed out on the ground. Evening is slowly coming, as the light and the sky above turning a gentle marine blue. Darker and darker it begins to turn. And that's where we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in just a short while and pick up from there. All right. Okay, as we come back into the game, the party has just been almost ambushed by a mysterious creature with an even more mysterious weapon, hurling shot after shot after shot after shot in mere moments, almost disintegrating what was left of that abandoned shack. And you all, through a few moments of distress, you all escaped, just about, and began to make your way northward, just away and away and away from what was once the battlefield, with Theron reduced and lodged into the knapsack of holding, taking brief intermittent breaks for him to fill his lungs with air again before he is thrown back in. And you all travel and travel and travel, and over about 5,500 feet away, you are surrounded by rolling hills of sand. Tara, you catching that glimpse of green change off far in the distance before you all descended down the dunes and continued escaping and heading away. And as Tara just finishes casting an incantation to just find yourself a little bit more away from prying eyes, and Theron passes out in the sand on his back, coming back to his original form and size. Both Tara and Rayloff, you stand there in the almost blissful silence, and the breeze slowly just fluttering past you as the evening quickly approaches and the sky begins to turn a darker shade of marine blue. This is where we pick it back up.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that we'll start doing like short rest kind of things.
Okay.
So I'm going to
Yeah,
go
chest
over
compressions.
just make sure Theron's won. Okay.
Yeah.
Then he's literally just passed out of freaking. Of my knowledge, nothing.
Yeah, just over a quick glances and a few examinations, Theron is just asleep. He is exhausted from the...
He's breathing.
And he is breathing, that's the main thing.
Yeah. I'm going to use one of my spells to use for Goodberry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take one. Theron,
Yeah,
open your mouth.
this sounds dodgy, but okay.
Throw a Goodberry in his
Yeah,
mouth.
you just feel like clattering to the back of your throat. Look. And a small little berry.
You gain 1 HP.
Oh, 2. Lucky boy.
But you now feel full. With the other 9, I'm going to go to Rayloff and say, how fast do you think you could make a bit of a snack? I'm starving.
Do you have any leaves?
I do. Get my staff, use druidcraft.
And you see the small bushel just
Yeah.
grow out to the side of the staff.
How much do you need?
So, well, depends on how hungry, really. I'm gonna, as I'm saying that, I'm gonna start putting, I'm gonna start putting down, or taking out my cooking utensils, but I'm gonna take out sort of like a wood slab, and I'm just gonna start cutting up any leaves or any vegetables that the Terra passes, and I'm just gonna make a salad.
I'll kind of like help with little things like mushrooms or little herbs and stuff. Just to throw them in.
I'll also instead of just keeping the good berries as they are, I'm going to sort of crush them above the salad and sort of mix in the juices into the salad.
Okay.
But I'll keep the skin of them as a garnish on top.
Okay, alright.
Sort of cut it down the end, and then crush it, and then take the skin and
Okay, well, roll a survival check for me.
I am going to keep one for me and one for Rail separate.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Give him the other.
I like how we've got a party chef right now.
Yeah, yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And it's not the best.
10. Good enough to get the good berry juices evenly incorporated into the salad of all the mushrooms and the leaves and all the herbs that Tara has druid crafted or passed off to you from her personal collection. And you plate it off into small wooden bowls that you have and garnish with a couple of good berries on the top of each small mound of green and grey from the mushrooms. And it's weird. It's the good berries almost give it like a faint like lavender shimmer to it. I mean, it looks weird. It looks almost like you just mixed beetroot into all of it, and it's just a little bit of that like pinkish reddish juice. But it for a salad, I mean, it smells pretty good, fruity, but then also like nice and I guess like herbal.
Yeah.
And fragrant with the mushrooms and all of the herbs that have been put on.
Are we taking a short rest at this point, or?
Yeah.
We will be,
Yeah. If that's what you choose to do.
I can't do that spell without it being a short rest or a long rest.
Okay. Hit dice. What do we do for?
You can use as many hit dice as you want. Just know that they come back. You get half of the amount you've used back after a long rest. So if you use a good few, it'll take a couple long rests for you to regain all of those hit dice back.
Where are the hit dice on the?
If you on D&D Beyond, if you just like go to the top and the campfire and or hit short rest, then it'll ask you if you want to use any hit dice or any hit die. Sorry. So
does the good berries in the salad heal it at all?
I would say because the juices have been expelled into food, it fills you up very well and like, you know, it sates any kind of feeling of hunger, but it doesn't heal you for anything right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I did give you a singular good berry that hasn't been put into the salad.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted that cheeky 1 HP, because that's what I'll be doing. I'll be ingesting.
Yeah, I'll just munch on it.
Okay.
Is it just the one, did you say?
Yeah, I just wanted more to go into food because we're obviously hungry, but more just so we can get that juicy 1 HP in. So, I'll pull out the map. The map that we took from the table from that building. So when we were going up one of the dunes, I, pointing at the question mark, pointed out part. I think that's where I saw this greenness. Looks a bit like the forest. Do you fancy that's probably the best call? Because Brenton's obviously back that way. Or do you think Brenton's the best way to go? Still.
I think Brenton might be the best thing to do right now.
To go back?
If there's something like that defending the path, they're going to need to be warned.
I will point out as well, as you look on the map, I'd say any of you roll a survival check for me to estimate distance from where you are, so you can estimate where you may be on the map.
I'm going to take a photo.
Okay. Oh fuck.
Was it?
Is it? Holy shit.
And
18.
Nice.
You did say survival, didn't you?
Survival 16.
I'm proficient with survival as well, so it's 27.
Nice.
Okay. I got 18 from 15 plus 3. But,
Okay, so Rayloff and Theron, both of you kind of like looking at the map as Terra holds it out. Terra instinctively, and if you choose to, you can make a marker on the map. If you're there.
Yeah, I'm still here, sorry.
But the distance where you are currently, you of the distance you've travelled from the shack and from further away from Brenton, you estimate you are roughly about here, just before that river.
Where I put that little circle there.
Yeah.
do you know how many miles that is away from Brenton, or not really?
You have no idea.
I'm a bit more with it now, and I'm going to ritual summon Phantom Steed.
Okay, so would you like to describe to the rest of the party what they see as you cast this spell?
The spell takes 11 minutes, and what you see is I sort of go into a meditative state, and then I cross my legs, but I'm in sort of mid-air, levitating slightly off the ground. My glyphs up my arm up to glow, and I just sit there for 11 minutes. And you know, like how Doctor Strange, when he's doing the possibility thing with the time stone, I'm just going kind of thing, flickering about.
Yeah.
And then after 11 minutes, you just see energy come from me, and then come in front of me to make this spectral steed.
Nice.
Right, and what form does this steed take?
A horse.
Okay.
No, sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
Might use one of me hit die.
It's more of a skinny, athletic kind of horse.
Okay. So, as this incantation is completed and the ritual finishes, as Theron continues casting these arcanic runes just around him and in front of him, and taking like energy from a rune that appears on his arm and like hurling them forward almost, and all of them like flinging but connecting, and he slowly builds up this form of starlight and ethereal mist as it finishes, and Theron kind of floats down onto his butt again, and the last little bit of archaic energy just and latches on to like the back of this form of the horse's neck, filling in that last little gap. You hear, even though the horse is staying still, you hear all four hooves of this horse just almost yeah, and you see the form of the horse is near identical to an athletic stallion, fairly smaller frame yet strong and built. You do see within the eyes, as the form itself is more like a cyan bluey green with starlight and mist flowing over it and onto the ground faintly before it dissipates. But you look in the eyes, and where you would normally see those really big, thick irises, you look in and you almost see like an extremely small view of planets and a galaxy. An outside look of what could be or could have been the Astral Sea. Further away, closer in, just this floating galaxy and nebula. Just stationary, but gently moving, ever so minuscule and tiny as you look into its eyes.
And I get up and I'm like, Kronos, it's nice to see you. And let's see how far I can go on this.
Before that happens, I know that we identified the horseshoes of something. I can't remember what it's called perfectly. I'm going to see if they will fit his phantom steed.
Okay.
All it is like I forgot to put it in my inventory.
That's okay. I've got it here.
I know it won't do much craziness, but it still fit a horse.
The creature uses statistics for riding horse, except it has a speed of 100 feet and can travel 10 miles in an hour.
Nice.
It lasts for an hour though, so I can ride 10 miles an hour on it.
So, the iron horseshoes come in a set of 4. While all 4 shoes are affixed to the hooves of a horse or similar creature, they increase the creature's walking speed by 30 feet.
Sounds. So, with my attempt of, like, slowly bringing myself towards this phantom steed, I'm going to attempt to pat its nose, keep it calm so it knows me a little.
With Theron being right next to it, or next to it, you see Kronos, the newly named spectral steed, just and just kind of like lower its nose for you to just pet and just rub along the side of his face, and is more.
I'm going to try to put these hooves onto it. My character would know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it.
As you lift one hoof and you begin to like position it and try and like almost like slot it on and just kind of knock them on, you find that it does place itself firmly on one hoof before like the mist around it just almost encompasses it, and then just as the mist from its leg, from its form, just crawls away from its hoof, you see it move its hoof from the ground, and it just, and you see the horseshoe has just stayed there in the sand, almost rejected by the form. Not gone through it necessarily, finding purchase on the hoof, but the magic and the arcane of the item being rejected by the form in a way.
I'm glad you said that, because to be fair, for an extra 30 feet, and I do 100 in an hour, not 100, yeah, 10 miles in an hour, 10 miles in an hour, sorry. But yeah.
There you go, Matt. That's fine. I'll take the hooves back and place them in my bag of holding. It was just to see if they can. If they'll go a bit faster. Obviously, it seems very powerful. I'll have to see if I can turn it into something like that. Well, yeah, it's fascinating. So, what's the plan?
I was thinking maybe I can ride out and see how far Brenton is and come back with maybe, I don't know.
Alone? If we're going anywhere, we're going together.
Then this Phantom Horse ritual hasn't really done anything then.
Well,
maybe I could send some fast horses back.
How exactly would you go into Brenton anyway?
Via my steed. I cast an 11-minute
when all the guards
ritual.
take you in because you're a wanted criminal.
We'll see about that.
Well, they do hate you.
Everybody hates me. So
I know, but they really do hate you.
Yeah, I know.
So
the
your
many
word
people-
won't count. It'll be null and void. Everything you say, they'll think it's a lie.
Yeah, but did I survive that onslaught?
You did,
Admittedly-
yes. No, I agree. But they hate you. I wouldn't be surprised if they killed you.
But did I not survive that timeless
Yes.
expense?
You did.
Did I not survive Mugrush, whatever his name was?
Barely.
Yeah, well,
That was with Gerald's help. A lot of it.
Yeah, I'll be alright. Don't worry about it. Unless you want to use my Phantom Steed, but it'll only get you 10 miles and then you won't be able to ritual summoning it again. So
It's true.
I'm just gonna look over to the Doom Whisper.
Yeah.
how fast do the Doom Whispers go? Mile-wise?
Let me go back onto set notes. Gonna probably find it faster than myself.
As this is happening, I'm looking and staring deeply into the eyes of Kronos.
You find yourself
In
just
sheer
lost.
amazement.
You find yourself lost in the
Oh.
space.
And as I'm looking into his eyes, I'm reminded of that pocket dimension, of the losslessness, and the vastness of nothingness.
Yeah, you stare into the void of the eyes in the galaxy, and it just amazes and fills you with wonder.
That's gonna be anywhere between 80 to 100 feet. Considering we were what was 2 minutes.
From what I had put down for the Doom Whispers, they triple your standard walk speed.
Okay. So I'm personally at 90 foot.
Yeah.
But if we use them to dash.
120.
Yeah. So we can actually outrun. We can out this Phantom Steed.
What is it 10 miles in an hour though?
Well, yeah, as long as it's on sand that we know of.
That's yeah. From what you know of, as long as it's. I remember you testing one of the Doom Whispers on the roadway. Yeah. Oh yeah, on the barren like stone land, it just dropped. Yeah.
No. So we know it goes on sand and not on stone. If grass, but we're nowhere near grass, as we know by looking at the map. So,
Okay, let's go then.
I think that's a good idea. So you use that, and then worst case scenario.
We stop every hour. I do 11-minute ritual, and then we start again.
So we okay. Can you not start the ritual 50 minutes into riding on your Phantom Steed?
No, it's a ritual.
Yeah,
It's a
but
ritual.
if we strapped you in, so you can't fall off, could you not do it?
Don't talk West. That isn't how it works. Come on.
But could you? I'm saying, could you? There's
You're asking me. Ask the boss.
I'm asking the person who was wanting to go into voidness. Does this person want to try a ritual while moving?
It won't work, but yeah, if you want to.
Does it cost you anything?
It's 11 minutes every time I stop. That's it.
So do it at 48 minutes. You've got a minute spare. If it doesn't work, we'll stop.
Why don't you just reduce me, put me in the bag, and then
It
let's
costs
see
me
if I can do a
spells.
ritual summoning in the bag whilst holding my breath, making a Phantom Steed
You just told me it takes you 11 minutes.
to do the ritual summoning.
At maximum, you can only hold your breath 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That means you will have to stop to breathe. It ain't gonna work.
I'm a
How
time.
far is it to Brenton?
I'm a time wizard, so
Roll a
be
survival
careful
check.
on that one.
With disadvantage because you're not super familiar with these lands.
Anyway.
I think you should try the ritual spell on the move. If not, then we'll stop and do the ritual.
Well, in good fashion, Theron just goes, Kronos, to me. And then I get on and start bombing it towards Brenton, direction of Brenton.
On the Doom Whisper, we will follow.
Okay.
We won't go in front of. We'll
All right.
16.
All right.
I did
As
roll a natural 20.
oh, hey,
Practice.
that's all right.
Absolutely after, but
16 is really good anyway. So Theron begins to just leaps on to Kronos, and then you begin to gallop through the sand, and both of you just and begin to just trail softly behind or catching up and staying with Theron as you all begin to travel southward.
Yeah, not directly.
Not directly to
towards
where the shack
where we
is.
just came back
I'd
from.
say about
If
southeast.
we're looking at the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. The opposite direction
Yeah,
of that whole
yeah.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
about southeast or so.
Mm-hmm.
Rayloff, you estimate from here where you are now to estimate it to Brenton would probably be about
Don't say a day. Don't say a day.
by normal horseback from where you are to Brenton you'd be looking at about 5 days travel. With the
But this is 3,000.
with the increased speed that you have, you're more likely about 3.5 days away.
How much is that? 24,
No,
48, 72, 80, 84 times you have to ritual cast it, and that's on a non-stop ritual go. You'd have 50-minute sleeps. And we can't travel without sleep, do you know what I mean? At least you got the benefit.
Well,
of it.
you could if you were
What?
to accept exhaustion.
Outer interest, what's that X on the map with the circle around it? Is that the top?
Well, I will say first off, try and stop making boxes.
Sorry.
That's okay. The X with the circle. Does anyone remember?
Off the top of my head, no.
I think Adam put that down.
It might be where Cruel was.
No, that was. Oh no, that was already dotted onto the map. That was one of the notes because I remember with the question marks to the forest near Everglade Peak, and there was a little notation of a circle and a cross on this map above where the T is, where the temple was, that you guys noted on, and yeah, that note was already on the map. So it wasn't made by you guys. That the question marks, the dot trail, and the circle with the cross through was already etched and noted, scrawled on the map when you found it.
Okay.
So estimated between 3 and 3.5 days from where you are.
So as we're riding, I'm like, this is going to take far longer than we think. Where are we going, guys?
I'm going to accelerate on the Doom Whisper to meet Theron. And try to slow down his horse.
But the horse slightly wants to be ahead of the Doom Whispers.
That's fine. Well, I will slow down to see if it will slow it, and if it slows down Golden. I'm going to get to Theron, or attempt to, with the map in my hand, Have a look at this.
As the air is just pushing past all of you, the sand underneath, and the of the horse's hooves hitting sand.
And I'm not gonna let it go until he's
got purchase on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's passing out the map like I just telepathically go to him. We both got telepathy. We can talk to each other.
I'm gonna mind link to him. Oh yeah. Take it from my hands.
Okay.
Do not let go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Dexterity roll.
Have a look. Right next to us, there's that circle with an X. Do you think it's worth going to there instead?
I mean, it's closer to us than Brenton, so we could do. However, will we get shot down by a mysterious stranger with a gun that destroys a shack in about 2 seconds?
Maybe, but
Okay.
It's going to take a long time to get to Brenton.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go to that X.
Yeah.
I'll switch my movement and head towards
Yeah.
the X. Okay.
I'm going to have my arm out. Map, please.
I carry on.
Oh,
going.
well, mind linked by any chance?
Yeah,
They are, yeah.
He's talking to me telepathy-wise, and I'm mind linking him.
Okay.
Technically, he could reply just through mind link, but obviously, he could not choose not to.
Well, because we both got telepathy, we can actually respond to each other.
Well,
If
I
another
don't
person-
have telepathy, but I have mind link, so I can
Oh,
talk to you. with your
okay.
It's light telepathy.
But it's not just as freely
Yeah.
to a degree.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so immediately Rayloff, as you're kind of like catching up with both of these, it doesn't take but a second, and you catch up, and just as you do, you hear Theron exclaiming, "Let's go there." Oh, sorry. Actually, no. You just see you hear nothing as you just up to them, and then almost immediately, almost immediately, Kronos, the large spectral steed, it just turns on, swiveling on the back hooves, and beginning to gallop the opposite way now, back northward, northwest.
And as I'm going past, I just shout to Rayloff in his head, "Come on, follow us."
I'm turn back.
Yeah, as you just almost confused and just turn around and cast off, heading with them along the dunes now northwestward.
Yeah.
And heading, at least from what Theron and Terra know, heading towards the X with the circle upon the map that you found.
Which has never been trouble ever.
Yeah. Going off the plan.
You continue. Is there anything you wish to do while traveling?
Get the map back from Theron.
What exactly is the plan here? After your
Carry
little
on going.
private talk?
Once I have proclaimed the map back and put it into my said pocket.
No, I carry on going.
Then I will still on the random dunes of it going up. I will do my trick skills to try to jump over and grab the map at any time that I can.
Okay. Roll an acrobatics check for the first flip, then a sleight of hand check. Theron, roll a perception check.
Acrobatics for the first one is 17.
Nice.
What do you say? Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, yeah. 15, okay. Theron, what did you roll for perception?
I'm going to find out. Perception. Where is it? It'd be helpful if it was here.
It's next to P.
It's actually not on my skill list when I go there.
Oh, if you go on D&D Beyond, they're actually alphabetically ordered.
Because D&D Beyond
Second
is the best
It's the best
service.
thing. If we had a sponsor,
That's
it would be that.
If we were sponsored by Wizards of the Coast D&D Beyond, that would be fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah. No pointers. No noise. What?
Wink, wink.
Your lover's right.
12 plus 3, 15.
15. Okay. Tara, what did you roll? 15 as well.
On both of them.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, we got a case of the rollies.
Yeah. Re-roll. So, in this moment, Tara, as you flip off of a dune and you do a slight, nice little spin, but upside down like a helicopter,
Yeah.
and just as you do, you kind of like just over Theron near Kronos, and you just reach down with one hand as you're spinning, and you just try and nab the map. So, what was that sleight of hand check from you? The re-roll, Tara.
Well, I thought it was the what's it called now? Acrobatics roll I was doing.
No. The sleight of hand.
Was
Yeah,
what it
it was the
meant.
re-roll. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Still the same. 15.
15. Theron.
16, literally.
Nice.
Oh, well,
So, Theron, as you're kind of like caught up slightly as Tara is doing this really cool like upside down helicopter spin before she flips back, you notice her arm is extended a little bit too close to you, and the pocket that you've put the map in. What are you doing? Just in this brief moment as she hurls over you.
I'll let her get as close as she thinks she can to get it, and then just go, oh, like just out of reach.
You notice Tara as you reach, and Theron's been fairly consistent with riding Kronos and the standard sort of trot and gallop as well.
yeah.
And just as you lean down, as you're spinning, and you just lean down and extend your arm, and you just barely get within inches of grabbing it, you see Theron just with a slight little side smirk, just like almost standing up on the foot. I don't know what they're called. The actual name of like the things you put your feet in. Mm-hmm. But he just
stirrups.
Yeah. Well, we'll say stirrups. He just stands up slightly with the stirrups and just shakes away slightly and back. He just readjusts, and he picked the most perfect time to readjust on the saddle of Kronos, and you just fuck. And you fled back over and continue on, just inches away.
And then after that, I take the map out and just do that.
Do what I can't see, literally like, do this!
I just hand out the map.
Oh,
I just wanted to, I just wanted win.
Okay, I've been on the wrong side, I'm going to slow it down behind the Phantom Horse and speed back up and try to...
Yep. Around, and you grab it.
Try to see if I can grab it.
Oh, do I? Or do I pull it away? Oh, this is a crucial moment. No, I'll give it.
The hand releases from the map, Tara, and you pick it.
I'm slowing down.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just see it.
Put it in my pocket.
You just see a smirk on Theon's face, like.
That's fine. I'll slow down and shout relay off.
Just like sort of slowing down a bit, watching this unfold.
Once I get to the point where I have got the map now, I'm going to relay the information to Rayloft to say where we're going, what's the plan.
Okay.
This and that.
All right.
So, we'll be in there.
Fast fog cloud.
Go around it. Would it take longer than the hour to be able to see if it can do the ritual while within, while being on? Makes sense. The Phantom Steed.
I doubt it, because the Phantom Steed itself is an actual ritual summon.
To do a ritual, you need to be in a calm, serene, familiar environment. Usually stationary. Being able to draw things or lay things out in front of you to be able to complete the ritual, depending on what it is. For this, where he is summoning a form, there needs to be no form in that same place while he is creating this form. The thing is, if I'll say because of the way that Kronos was summoned, like adding bits to this form from the runes and the energy around him and along his glowing runes on his arms and everything, he could like launch the building blocks, the start of the form, but with Kronos still moving, that area that's off in the distance now, and then the ritual is cancelled and you have to restart again.
That's right.
But it's worth the idea. It's worth knowing.
Yeah.
Have you tried switching it on and off?
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so we'll slow it down for him to do his ritual while me and Rayloff are just circling him like
Alright.
nobody's business. We're bored. How long are you gonna be?
I ignore you.
Wave the map.
And what you didn't realise is it's an illusionary map, and I've still got the map.
You're funny. But yeah, so once he's got his ritual, we'll carry on.
Okay. I'd say after about 4 hours or so, the night is quickly coming in, and the darker marine blue is slowly turning grey and black. Exactly, grey. The night comes and the cool, ice-cold air begins to hit all of you. So used to finding yourselves in cover during these nights after the first initial few, you are now out in the open, able to be hit and pummeled from every direction by this biting chill.
I use prestidigitation to warm my clones up.
That's completely fine. There's Theron every now and then constantly just puts his hands on his shoulders and his chest, and you just see his like kind of skin regain colour
as he falls off the bed.
Make a dexterity check.
Rayloff, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna throw a coat on them.
Alright, what coat do you have? More of like a winter coat.
Yeah, just one of the winter coats that we bought.
Alright. So you hurl one of those on and bundle in. Terry, you doing the same?
Exactly.
Okay.
See Rayloff probably do it.
Yeah. And you will bundle up nice and warm as you continue travelling. And
keep Mogwai on this side instead of on me.
And you see Mogwai just happily just kind of bobbing his head as you hit some bumps and raises and dips along the dunes.
How far exactly are we planning to go?
To the X and see what happens.
We're gonna obviously not go precisely there. We'll go near. Have a look what it actually, because it was pretty already on this, you see, and well, once we have a look what it is, we'll know what to do. Hopefully.
Right, and if we start getting attacked,
then we can leave. We can go to Brenton. We can see on how bad the danger is when we get there.
Right.
I just thought it's going to be worth travelling to here while it's close, then over there where it's going to take us ages.
Okay. Yeah.
If you have another plan, tell us now.
I can't think of anything, but
If you do have an idea though, feel free to shout it out. We're literally in the lost just as much as you.
How about this? How about this for an idea?
No. Go on.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll get the map back.
Yeah. Confirms putting map from pocket into bag of holding.
Don't worry. Don't think I won't go there.
Oh, you just do it.
Rayloff,
Okay, do it.
Rayloff, as you continue to hear this small back and forth between these two children that you're traveling with, and the night is coming in and it's beginning to become lightless. As you veer on a little bit ahead within these next 25 or so minutes, they're still keeping up, but just a few feet behind you, about 15, 20 feet. And you continue along fairly steady pace, nothing like a full-on sprint. Now the direction has changed and you're closer, yet you and through the small starlight and moonlight that is shining upon the desert, the Crawler's Respite now illuminating in this very, 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 very light white and blue. Just this gentle blue shimmer across the entire respite. And
Magic missile.
And you begin to blink, and the light kind of like catching you off guard, and you're trying to adjust to the light ahead or the lack thereof. And as you're about 20 feet ahead, you quickly see in front of you about 40 feet as you're the sand and the trail and the land in front of you just stops. Uh-oh. And you're getting closer and closer.
I'm going to slow down.
As you
I'm going to look back and just say, slow down.
Slow down.
And you all and Kronos
I'm going. No, I'm joking.
And you all slow down, and as you all catch up with Rayloff, your eyes adjust, and the moonlight and starlight illuminates in front of you. And mere 10, 15 feet ahead of where you stand, Rayloff, and where your allies join you, you find the land itself cut off.
A ravine, maybe. Oh.
And you see just an outline of a colossal chasm-like ravine, almost cutting the land up. The other side stretching as far as 2 miles. And the length of it, from where your eyes can find, you find no end. And you look to the other direction, further into the respite, following this chasm that leads down. Possibly maybe a river in one point in time, a large body of water, now dried up, rocky and earthy, splitting the land. You cast your eyes across, and it disappears into the darkness, miles and miles and miles off, with no end in sight.
Here's DM. Let's have a look. See what. Oh yeah. Can I chronal shift the chasm to when it wasn't a chasm?
You can try.
I can't really, because
you can.
chronal shift it's only a few seconds.
So?
If you want, let me to try.
Yeah, sure.
Time travel.
Yeah, sure. Try it if you want. Yeah.
What's the DC? 30 plus. I so hope I get a natural 20.
Oh, yeah, if you've got a natural 20, your intelligence would have to be.
I've got 17. Plus my intelligence modifier is 7.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Although I didn't ask for a roll, because there is no DC.
Oh.
As Theron, you attempt to cast the chronal shift that you know so comfortably and so well, and trained into your skull-like second nature, and you and you flutter, and you find the arcane leave your body and the spell used. But partly... No, nothing changed.
You just see like an outline of like arcane energy, like a shimmer, but nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth trying, wasn't it, guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or what you could do, clicking my heels, walking
Right,
backwards,
Dorothy.
a walk back over the edge. You can do this.
Like,
And just
and I cast
So-
magic missile. No, I'm joking.
so my let me just go scroll down to inventory, right to the bottom. My wing boots are on. To try and
What,
keep his
just
attention
now?
at my face, just with pure confidence, just like walking backwards. I'm walking off the edge, but I'm still walking
Still staying
backwards.
at the same level,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
finding ground that is not there.
Yeah.
I want
You
to
just
try
do
and knock
this.
one of his shoes off. No, I'm joking. I really
just
want
do
to,
this.
but
Yeah. So
how far can you see down the chasm?
I look down, like literal just down.
It's pitch
How
black.
far?
As you
Me back to equipment.
find
Strike a match.
Mhm.
Turn on a torch. Drop it. I'm gonna just listen to the sound, but just turn back. Yeah, there's a very long way down. I'm going to walk back towards the two of them and click
Just-
back off.
just after you click your boots
Yeah.
and your feet touch sand again.
hmm
Out of interest, DM, is this where the X is on the map?
I will show you
Oh,
the place where you are at. You've just come up to
where the line is.
where the line is.
Damn.
Oh, and that is the actual.
That is the empty, what could have been a body of water that flowed from a lake once upon a time,
Okay.
but is now
Okay, so
a
it's quite-
deep chasm of a ravine that has just
Okay, so-
sliced the land apart.
Yeah. So this is quite extensive and quite far. So we can either get over it or we don't have a choice. Really, we don't really have. We could possibly go left, like on north. No, we could always go northwestward, towards maybe that little sea thing, and see if we can get around that way.
Well, if this is a ravine to hold the water that came from what looks like possibly over in that direction, or pointing at the map, over here, that's probably going to be deeper than here.
Yeah,
Not
but if
anything, the same size.
yeah, but there's no water here. That's what I'm saying. But if we
But
head
who
north-
says that there's any water over there?
Oh yeah, good point. I suppose I haven't been there.
Theron,
According to the map, it looks like there's water.
Theron,
Yeah.
and Tara. Just Tara,
Yeah.
barely. As Rayloff, you're kind of like looking between the two and wondering what to do from here. You see both of their ears perk up and their heads tilt slightly. Both of you hear a faint from below you.
No. Magic missile! You think I'm joking?
Wait, what are you magic missiling? You need a target.
The sound.
I'll
Target the
wait for-
sound.
Okay then, I'll ready an action.
Okay.
I will second level magic missile
Mm-hmm.
anything that comes into my threatens me in the
Okay,
slightest bit.
yeah, that's
like,
fine.
Like I say, an arm, a leg, maybe the smell is so pungent it makes me just want to.
Okay, you see
Maybe
Theron.
the rail off's arm to say, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Not really.
You see Theron instantly.
Speak.
You see instantly Theron just, and as he like pulls one arm back and pushes the other hand out, and you see his eyes looking around. You see, is it 4 missiles or 3? Magic
It's
missiles.
3. 4 because he's put it as a second.
Okay, yeah. So you see 4 dots, just like almost like creating like half a diamond, almost like a pyramid above his hand.
That's cool.
And it's just lighting this like vague sort of like reddish pink hue around him.
I'll strike another match.
Mm-hmm.
Put it against the torch, and I will drop another one.
As you drop,
It's not down there.
you hear.
Trying to not spook
Yeah.
Theron.
You hear.
It sounds like it's getting closer and closer. No.
It
just
sounds. It sounds from below you.
It doesn't. It sounds like it's coming from below.
Mm-hmm.
Directly below, or does it sound like it's in the cavern below?
In the chasm ravine.
And did my torch illuminate them in the slightest?
As you watch your torch go down, before as it just fell into darkness, you see estimating. I mean, what's your intelligence score? Just not the mod, just the score.
14.
Okay. You estimate 600 feet or so down. As before, it just continued falling into darkness, and you heard that faint little clatter against the floor.
But no, it didn't.
It didn't. You watched it, and as the light fell and became smaller and smaller and smaller away from you, it illuminated, rather than what was pitch black, this slight grey and beige. Almost in the moment, you just see sort of like just oscillating, like sludge, before the light itself just.
Get snuffed out.
Yeah, that sounds sexy. That does.
I'm going to calmly, passively go towards Theron and rail off. I think we've got to run. Something's coming up. And it's going fast.
Out of interest, at this point, has my magic steed run out or not?
It's an hour, isn't it?
It depends on the DM. Depends how long we're going. Is it?
You've
You restarted the ritual, didn't you?
Yeah.
For him to carry on again, it just depends on how long we travelled before we got to there.
So I would say, as you reach the chasm, and you're inspecting it and talking about it, your steed just fade away in the moment.
I'll just say to these two, go. I'll see what I can do.
Why risk your life?
I'm always risking my life.
Yes, but
Remember?
for the wrong reasons.
Hey, you'll still be alive.
Yes, but so could you.
Yeah, but your lives are more important than mine.
Well, yes, I know, but 3 lives alive is better than 2.
You hear the sound again.
By the way, I'm still ready with magic missile.
And it doesn't sound like it's getting closer. It sounds like it's like extremely slowly moving past.
Oh.
Extremely slowly. The bubbling and the sucking and the squelching is just so gentle and slow, almost like a tortoise just gently wandering on.
Or a casual cube of slime.
Sounds like most of my exes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you would know.
With all this, with all the squelching and yeah. But you do just hear this like collection. Just begin to almost crawling speed, if not slower, within this chasm and within the ravine.
Okay, does this sound like it's coming closer, or does it sound like quite equal in how it's going, kind of thing?
I would say, I mean, as slowly as it is, like really slowly, it sounds kind of like it's getting closer, except from left to right, as opposed to from low to higher. So it doesn't sound like it's necessarily coming to you, or whatever it may be. It just sounds
seems like it's going
like it's travelling across
the bottom.
Okay, I'll just say to everybody, right, let's start walking in that direction. I know you got your sand glider things. I'll start running in that direction, and then we get a safe distance. We'll see if we can get to the coast, because the coast would be by a river or it won't, but either way we might be able to get around it.
Okay, or what we could do is we could teach you how to use the new Doom Whisper while we're reasonably safe. And worst case scenario, shrink you down, you put you in the bag then.
And you just see Theron look off thinking about that bag. Hold it.
So pulls out Doom Whisper out of the other bag, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time to not train, but show this is how you put it apart.
I'll say Theron, roll an intelligence check for me, just to see how quickly you're picking up and learning.
I know, I've just done that, and it's going to be a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10 plus 7.
17. Yeah, you're retaining a lot of the information. It's fairly simple once you understand where goes where and how it affects us properly.
I'll put it together, show him blah blah blah, this is how we do it, blah blah blah. I'll give him how to go forward, how to slow down, and then I'll take it apart again. No, you give it a try.
And all through this, like, Theron is pretty incredulous, like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, it's me. You can tell it's me concentration learning, like, how I trained the Mogwai. Like, I know he's an incredibly smart creature, but...
don't do air quotes.
Well, in theory, his intelligence is 3. So, I had to train him to a very low level, but he understood. Where I'm training you, in my eyes, the same as I trained Mogwai, because that's the only reason, that's the only thing I know, because, Mogwai's smarter than you.
While all that's happening, I'm just going to be listening to the slime thing going past.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, as far as going past, it just sounds like it's just swelling and like undulating beneath.
Oh, sounds like a good night.
Oh yeah. Sucking up.
Imagine the rate of the speed. Imagine this chasm from one end to the other. You find at least estimated about a mile across. Imagine that much from end to end, from a mile across, of sludge slowly creeping its way. Like, if you wanted to sit there and listen for it to pass you, it would be hours.
Inevitable doom.
At least from what you suspect.
It was more just while.
Make sure it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Alright, roll a perception check for me.
But yeah, so I would train him slowly.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, he's,
Very
as Theron,
precise.
Theron does pay attention. He does catch on with the directions and how to use the Doom Whisper. And very, very quickly, Theron, you feel comfortable in the knowledge of how to do it.
Yeah.
21.
However, but I pretend that I don't know what's going on purpose, just to annoy Tara.
Get you. That's fine, I ain't bothered. It's your life. When it comes to having a go, I will pull out my own and
Yeah, and just follow along.
ride with
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Like
Rayloff,
driving instructor.
while Tara is about to give her first driving lesson on a Doom Whisper, you just hear almost like a deep slight rumble underneath.
All right, folks, let's go.
After you then.
Sound?
Yeah.
I start going.
All right, where are you heading? And you can show me on the map as I have it up.
Oh, where are we
Well,
thinking?
I would assume, if I've picked the right thing, no I haven't, what opinion? Obviously our closest side.
Yeah.
Up there.
Okay, that way. Okay. All right.
Because the other way is much longer.
Mhm. Yeah.
And by the time we make our way the other way, we might as well go to Brenton.
Yeah.
Okay. So you turn to the west.
Northwest.
You had westward, following that chasm as it leads slightly north as well.
We're not
What is
following
doing it?
stupidly close.
No.
Like a good, safe distance
Okay.
away from.
How
accidental
far away? Like
50 foot.
okay.
I'd say like a reasonable.
Yeah, but about a mile.
A mile and 50 foot is
Yeah.
dramatic. Do you know what I mean?
So
Let's say
you
maybe
stay
50 to 100.
yeah, okay. You stay a fair distance away that you can't accidentally fall or accidentally hit it. As you are traveling,
I go straight into it and cast both form.
as you continue traveling and less than an hour away, as the starlight and the moonlight is still glaring across the golden sand and, well, the now cyan blue, very light sand, and illuminating the edges of this chasm in this dried up ravine, you see the light bounce on another object. As you pass and you're looking to the ravine, checking and just seeing any differences, you see part of the jagged edge of the ravine closest to you. Almost like you find a small area that there's this slight overhang that steps out about 20 feet outwards, solidly set in stone and sand covered. And you see glints of wood and rope attached from the edge of this overhang. And just as you notice this small glint of wooden steps tied and fastened with rope attached to this overhang and slowly wading down slightly as a small rope bridge just disappears into the distance from that edge. And you begin to hear still just the ever so present and just as you glance across, and Tara specifically, with being used to being out within this time to observe certain creatures and animals, your eyes are fixed to this dull, like white and grey scenery of the starlight and the moonlight. And you glance off and you see this fairly sizable rope bridge, maybe single file or just maybe, depending on the size, 2 at a time. And you just see it slowly bowing down and straight from this overhang, vanishing off into the distance. Just tapered over this large, dried chasm and ravine. And
I'll kind of like slow us down if
you all slow down. And Tara just gently still stares across to that overhang.
Yep.
And just as all of your eyes adjust and you find that starlight bouncing across the dark wood, unknowing or not knowing the quality, the age, the rigidity of this, maybe a potential path. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode and come back next week to pick up right there. And we're going to be live next week, which will be fucking awesome. So, alright, well, leaving it there in... Yeah, exactly. Leaving it there for a nice, maybe a little bit of a spookier thriller coming. It's going to be awesome. Alright, well, with all that said, thank you very much for watching. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you next time.